the machine and run the jewels. The Cleveland stop is going to happen at the Romo Fijo on July the 29th, and the tickets are on sale Thursday morning. They're $1.25 a pop, but it's been a minute since those guys have been together and been on tour. So $4.20 today and the remainder of this week. You'll be able to get those tickets from me. Alan, I was next to a woman who was very, very scared on a plane, and I told her that I had crushing debt and a miserable job, and there was no way I was getting off easy by dying in a plane crash. She was calm the rest of the flight.
I don't even know what I would say to somebody if they were reacting that way. I mean, you can't talk sense into somebody like that. You know what I mean? You just hug them or sit on them. What would you do?
I'd say calm down.
That doesn't help.
I say that to every woman when she gets upset, Mary. So, yeah, it works.
And your success rate is a divorce,
110%.
Okay. Oh, okay. I didn't realize.
100. Yeah, that's why I got divorced. I was telling her to calm down all the time. Yeah. That was the one and only problem that I had the first time I got married. Somebody just told her that her seat would not be in the same place after the crash. No wonder she was upset. No wonder she was freaking out.
Stop for the baby.
Oh, yeah. Alan, that's what Poundcake's going to sound like after he has to do his polar blast punishment.
We got the peppers coming tomorrow.
Wait, so are we doing this on this Friday?
You can do it whenever. I don't know what you decide, but my friend's dropping them off tomorrow. So
if you want to do yours on Valentine's Day, I'm all for it.
Oh, yeah. I didn't think about that.
Not like I have a Valentine, so what difference does it make? I have to mentally prepare for it. So, I mean.
Well, then you tell me.
Well, the preacher that was talking about the lattes, I think he's got some pretty good advice for you, or what you're going to feel.
Burn.
Burn.
Burn in the beeholes.
You burn in the beehole.
I have a different friend who makes wheat-infused almond milk. Would you like me to bring that as well? And that's what you can wash down this place with.
I have to drive home, people.
But I'll take you home and you can have a nice weekend.
Let me sleep on it.
Just high out of your mind on the toilet all weekend.
Because at the same, like, on one end, I'm like, I don't want this lingering over my head.
Which end?
But also, I'm like, I don't want it to be like this week. Ugh. Like, I want to get it over with, but I don't want it hanging over my head either.
We'll get cancer in the butthole. It'll burn and burn and burn.
Get a letter from Nate. He said, I did that hot wing challenge before, and it did not matter how much water or milk I had. Someone told me to wash the area around my mouth and my entire tongue with regular hand soap.
Ooh. I just think of the scene in Dumb and Dumber where they're squeezing the ketchup and the mustard, and they're like, here, this helps. Trying to get rid of that pepper.
Poundcake will not be able to sit down for a little while.
Well, it's going to be at the end of the show. So
yeah.
Sit down. Like,
we'll get cancer in the butthole.
It's not coming out of my...
It'll burn and burn and burn.
No, not that day, but by the end of the weekend it will. See, it's the gift that keeps on giving.
Yeah.
When it goes in, a lot of fun. When it comes out, probably even more so.
Yeah, you don't have to do it this week, but the option will be there.
I'm going to sleep on it, and then, I mean, if they're coming tomorrow, they're here. They're not going anywhere.
They'll be here. They're not going anywhere.
Is it cooked, or is it raw?
It's raw, and it's dried.
Yeah, I don't know.
I was told that we should soak it in like oil or water to make it easier to chew.
I don't know. My friend said he took a little bite out of one of them, and it was still pretty hot. He was like, he took
I just like the chewy
What type
part
of sadist is he? He's just taking bites.
He said he took a real small piece to make sure it was still hot, and he said that his mouth from the small bite was hot for like 25 minutes. So from one little small bite,
for
you're going to eat a whole one.
I'm going to have a come to Jesus moment.
You're going to be like that lady.
One of the wettest we've ever seen from the standpoint of water.
And I'm hearing like...
Do you want to switch to the shaving the top of your head?
Does that still stand?
Sure.
No, I'm not doing that. No. Like, and as I was saying yesterday, you were calling me brave for doing this. No, I'm not brave because I'm doing this. I don't want to do this.
Do it,
I'm not volunteering to do this. I'm doing this because I had to choose something.
You're doing it because you lost, because I was the winner.
Being brave would be like, I volunteer as tribute with nothing out of it. Like, if I didn't think that I would be a lame-o and my job would be at risk, I wouldn't be doing it. I don't want to do it. But
job at risk.
He is getting fired if he doesn't do it. That was in the contract.
He still might.
I'm getting fired.
Yeah, you might get fired even if you do it.
While I eat the pepper.
You chew it up, swallow it, and Alan's like, listen, we're going to have a talk.
I'm going to need to see you in my office. Thank you.
Yeah, let me.
Well,
sleep
yeah,
on
so
it.
you tell me what Friday you want to do it.
Okay, yeah, I told you. I know I'm getting dental work done on Thursday, so I was like, I don't know.
There you go. You might as well just numb your whole face, keep it going.
No, on Thursday, like Nora's birthday, like we're out. So that day I'm getting dental work done because that's the only time I have like the afternoon open.
Right.
But I don't want to go the next day and be like, all right, well, I'm about to light my mouth aflame, like, you know. So we'll see. I'll see what the dentist says.
You're not having anything pulled, are you?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I guess we'll see what the dentist says.
Well, what are you going in for?
Just a cleaning.
You don't know when you're going in for a cleaning if you're going to walk out having a tooth pulled?
If it's been a few years, you don't know.
Well, no, I'm not having any pain or anything like that. So I'm assuming it's just a routine cleaning. Hopefully they don't find any cavities or anything like that, because then that would factor into it, I'm guessing. But yeah, I'm assuming everything goes right.
Doc, how's it look? Because I'm set to eat a hot pepper tomorrow.
I mean, really?
Is this gonna exacerbate my canker sores?
Like I have been looking up remedies to like make it better, like on how to survive eating the pepper. But I haven't watched any videos of people eating the peppers because I don't want to think about it.
Well, listen, everybody. I haven't seen anybody who didn't survive it, but
you don't die.
my take on it is that there's really no way to make it any more palatable.
Yeah,
No.
you're just going to
And
be
that's
very
the whole,
uncomfortable.
yeah, that's the whole point.
Dip it in some ranch.
There you go.
Dip it in ranch. It's talking about how in Virginia they're trying to make it illegal for single people to have sex. It's still technically illegal.
They're trying to
there.
make it legal.
They're trying to make it legal.
Right.
It's still
Yeah.
technically illegal. Yeah, they're trying to legalize single sex. And I didn't realize, and I'm so happy that I found this out, and that I've never gotten pinched any time we've gone to Toronto. You know, we go quite frequently. And I didn't realize that you can't own a squirrel there.
What?
And
Can you cohabitate with one?
Yeah, common law?
now, what if your squirrel is your companion and not your pet?
Yeah.
That is the question I would pose.
If you didn't pay for the squirrel. Is
And
it
I
really
only-
your squirrel?
I only mention this because Toronto has got an amazing water skiing squirrel, right?
I saw him.
Twiggy the water skiing squirrel. Well, now they said because it is illegal to own a squirrel, that the purveyor of that little bit of entertainment might be on the hook for breaking the law.
Like
Because
jail
they have
time?
I don't know. But can't we just have one or two fun things anymore in the world?
No.
Why you got to crack down? Is a water skiing squirrel the lowest hanging fruit? Of course.
I was at the boat show. I did it last year and I did it this year at the IX Center. And last year, Twiggy was there. And this year, not there. And there were a lot of people very upset that
Yes.
Twiggy was not there
Twiggy
this year.
fan club?
Because it's entertaining.
They got
the
on
twig
their
heads.
Twiggy shirts. And
Yeah.
yeah.
But down here, you're not going to get arrested for it.
Yeah, they
Up
just
in
gotta move.
Canada,
We should offer them citizenship.
yes,
Who's
come
gonna
down
marry
here.
the squirrel?
You know, it's not a
You're
green
single?
card
I'm not
situation.
marrying the squirrel.
Mary and the Squirrel could be the name of your podcast.
It could be.
Yeah.
Go Twiggy, go Twiggy. Oh my gosh, is this the cutest thing?
People decided years ago in the city government, and I think with the support of the population, that we weren't going to allow animals like squirrels to be taken in by people. They're wild animals, and they live, thank goodness. We have healthy animal population in the city. A bylaw was passed saying you can't keep a gray squirrel as a pet. Then when a gray squirrel is kept in captivity and used for a water skiing show, that is not in compliance with the law. People mock it and say it seems like a silly allocation of time of city workers or whatever, but the law is the law.
See, even the animals in Canada are healthier. They have a healthy wildlife population
Actually, I have a
because of
theory.
that nationalized medicine.
The reason that healthcare in America is the way it is because of Hollywood and it being a plot point in so many movies and television shows.
Oh, you think they want to keep that going, like
Yeah.
John Q. and
Right.
I've got to fight to save my child. He needs life-saving care, and I need to
Hot
rob
Rod,
this bank.
Breaking Bad. There's so
Right.
many movies where that's the main purpose of the movie. I need to raise money because our healthcare system's broken.
Every one of those are commentaries on the American healthcare system.
Mm-hmm.
And we need entertainment more than anything. More than healthcare, probably.
Well, laughter is the best medicine, so it makes sense for comedies. I don't know so much about
Breaking Bad.
dramas.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean Breaking Bad wasn't a comedy?
A
There's funny
dramedy.
moments.
It's a dramedy.
There's some funny moments in it for sure.
All right. SeaWorld is ending their dolphin surfing, by the way, too. I didn't even know, A, SeaWorld was still a thing, and B, SeaWorld was still a thing. But they're not going to have people surfing on the dolphins anymore.
I thought that documentary.
Free Willy.
No, yeah, that one. And the follow-up documentary, Free Willy 2. Blackfish, was that the name of it?
Yeah, like the Japanese dolphin.
No, it was about America, wasn't it? Didn't
I
that happen here?
I thought it was Japanese.
No, Tillicum. He killed it. He killed his
SeaWorld stuff, right?
It was SeaWorld. The killer whale drowned its trainer. I thought that happened in America.
Okay. I must be thinking of something else. Yeah, Blackfish. Yeah.
Yeah,
Problems in the sea park industry.
I thought that like killed all of SeaWorld's
It got rid
revenue.
of a lot of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
They still been doing it though.
There's only like 1 or 2 open still though.
I love that PETA owns stock in SeaWorld Entertainment.
Do they really?
Yeah, because I guess they probably figured, hey, if we want to change some things, we got to do it from the inside.
That's true. I didn't think of it that way.
Yeah.
I was like, those hypocrites.
Well, no, because they're shareholders.
Yeah.
And so they're like, we want this to
They're
end.
hypocrites. Bitch.
It's not a sea animal. You knew that, right? You knew that, right? That hippos weren't sea creatures.
Totally.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, they
can swim.
You can see them in water, sure, flinging their tails around to attract a mate. Or is that the rhino? You know, a lot of times
That's me on a Tuesday.
Rhinos, they'll fling their tail as they're pooping.
Well,
it's one of the best videos of all time.
So they can disperse their feces and attract a mate. So a mate goes and look at that guy over there flinging his feces all over. I want to party with him.
Well, hippos are the rhinos of the sea, so makes
The
sense.
rhinos. Listen,
the rhinos of the river.
It comes from the Greek for river horse.
Hey, there you
So
go.
somebody was like, that's a water animal, right?
So maybe Poundcake's right.
As with everything else he mentions, he's always kind of right. He's always partially right.
We can track it back. We can kind of follow the breadcrumbs and be like, okay, well.
And usually, no one's more surprised than he is to be kind of right.
I'm actually just kind of happy that you guys speak my language. And
We're
sometimes-
getting there.
Sometimes I'm in this box, I'm just like, no one ever gets me. No one ever understands. And then sometimes...
90% of the time, you are correct. Yes.
But there's
No one gets-
sometimes...
right.
there's
Sometimes.
The other 10%, Bill corrects me and Mary gets
I
me.
had
and I'm
one.
like,
I don't even remember what it was, but I was like, I hate that I know that.
I was like, I'm so proud of you. And then in reality, I'm like, damn, I need to go back
Speaking
to school.
in cakeisms.
Dumb.
The dumb.
Well, it's the Trump era. We've all had to get used to figuring word salad out.
Where you just
We've
kind of
all-
sit there, you're like, wait,
things that don't make
hold
sense.
on.
We've had right. So you've benefited from that.
Everyone having to try harder to
try-
listen. Where you're just like, wait a minute.
Take something that makes zero sense and try to put it into some kind of mental box.
I don't know how I got this way. I don't know.
I don't know if it's a got this way type of thing.
Because your mouth works
it's the way you
faster
are.
than your brain. That's why.
Yes, but sometimes I really do think like my sentences through, and when it comes,
When is that?
a lot of the time, but it just doesn't come out the way it sounds in my head.
That's what I'm saying. Your mouth works faster than your brain.
Do you think real words in your head?
I think he has a basic idea of the word. It's always close.
But
I
like,
think-
there's people that don't have inner monologues.
Yeah, that I can talk in my head. Yes,
Okay.
I talk a lot in my head. I say a lot of things I probably shouldn't say out loud. So that's how I know I don't. My mouth doesn't move faster than my brain because I would say things that I wouldn't be allowed to say, things I wouldn't get away with. I keep in my head.
I wonder what Alan's thinking right now.
Nothing. Listen, I think that I have no inner monologue, Bill.
There are people that don't.
How could that be, though?
I don't believe that. Your brain has to generate the thought. You
Hey,
have
they
to-
have thoughts,
how do
but it's
you
not-
know? How do we know that?
They don't hear their thoughts?
They don't have the
inner voice.
Yeah, they don't have the inner voice.
That's what I mean. Like,
Yeah.
they don't... When I have a thought, I feel like I can hear my voice thinking it.
Right, and they don't hear that.
They don't hear that.
So they can't keep a secret.
That's weird.
Right?
What does it sound like?
Well, how
Nothing.
do we know this?
I have a friend that has this, and
It's a What's it condition.
called?
She was hanging out with her boyfriend, or they're not a label on it yet, and she was saying that she was trying to sound out a word out loud, and he's like, "You can't do that in your head," and she's like, "I can't hear any words in my head."
She's just coming up with an excuse to be a snitch.
Because she's trying to sound out a word?
No,
What's one got to do with the other?
Because if she has no inner monologue, then if someone could tell her secret, and then like,
How does she read?
that's what I'm saying. You read in your head. If someone tells you something, and you're like, don't repeat that.
She has
you're
to
like,
read out loud. That's the only way she can
Well,
read.
because you think in language.
Yeah.
So
Language terms.
language terms.
I always thought about that.
You
Like-
think in language. So I mean, I can't fathom not having an inner monologue.
Yeah, I can't even
That's
wrap
what
my
I'm
head
saying.
around it. And I can't even.
I don't know how you would
And she
read.
doesn't even know how to really explain it, but it's not.
Well,
It's
she probably-
different, I think.
Well, because I think about, like, if you're learning Spanish or something like that, people who Spanish is their second language, they think it in English first and then they say it in Spanish. That's like how it translates.
Well, when I
But
was learning
do
how to
people-
speak in Tagalog, I would start. You think what you want to say, and then you're translating it, but then it becomes second nature. So then I would start thinking in Tagalog, and then it'd get all mixed together, and I'd have dreams in Tagalog.
Okay.
And then there's like words that I would just be speaking, and I would use Tagalog words mixed in with English. Like it got messy.
I've always thought about
Esperanto.
that because I was like, do Spanish people, like people who learn Spanish, as their first language and they learn English, like, do they think in Spanish and then it comes out in English? Because I'm like, I don't know. I've never.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Your friends got me looking. I think of like when we had to read in class. Did they ever give you those, like, there were pieces of almost like pipe that were shaped like a macaroni noodle for kids who had to read out loud? So that way you could like whisper into it without disturbing others, and then you could hear it.
I'm completely unfamiliar with
I've
that.
You never had that?
What is that?
So there
Never
was
heard of the macaroni pipe.
so it, not like a metal pipe, like
But the
PVC
macaroni-
pipe,
yeah.
like PVC pipe.
Right, the macaroni reading pipe.
It
Never
was
heard of
it was shaped like a macaroni noodle. It's like a half circle. It was a half circle, so we would have reading time, right? Where
The
you go quietly
macaroni
read.
pipe. They
That's
had
what we
that.
call
They had
them.
that song, "The Freshman," Bill, and then they really faded into obscurity.
We really would. We would have reading time, so it was a half hour or whatever, where you would go quietly read.
So
and there
you were
some
whispering
kids-
into a elbow
I-
macaroni PVC pipe.
I didn't need it, but
some kid was.
some kids couldn't read unless they said it out loud. So I'm wondering
Oh,
if they
maybe
had this
that's it,
thing
yeah.
because they would have to take they called it a macaroni pipe. They'd have to take the macaroni pipe, and so that way they could whisper the words
Without
and then hear
interrupting
it without
everybody,
interrupting. That way it was still a quiet
Wow.
time.
Yeah.
You guys didn't do that?
No.
Maybe we had like
If
I don't
we
know.
did,
No.
I was never exposed to that.
If that, like, we were in school in a different time, so if a kid couldn't read, you just make fun of him.
Hit him with a hard
you
R
just
and get out
bully
there,
him.
right.
Yeah, exactly.
You're in the wrong class. It's for people who can read.
Go back home, idiot.
But I've also never understood people who say, I learned English from watching American television. I'm like, you can hear all the words, but I can't imagine. I mean, people who have very good English, they're like, oh, I watched American television.
Well,
That's how I learned.
When you immerse yourself in it, if that's all that they do when they're at home, it's kind of like I had a
And then you
girlfriend.
Mimic it, too.
yeah, I
Raj
don't-
does this.
Oh, I
Our
didn't
friend
know.
Raj, I mean, he's from India, and he speaks English like an American, and
Yeah.
he's only been here for like 10 years.
Yeah, I had a girlfriend who went to school. She was in culinary school, and then she did I don't know if it's an internship or whatever. It was like she went out and like forged food, and then they had to cook with it and see what they could do down in Colombia. And she had never spoken a lick of Spanish in her life. So she went down there and she's like, you learn really quick when you don't have any other choice. She's like, I physically can't interact with people, so I just listen, hope that I pick up on context clues and kind of see what they're doing. And then she's fluent in it now.
Yeah, it's just that people, when it's their native tongue, they speak so quickly. They don't speak to you like first-year Spanish.
Right.
You know, donde es la biblioteca?
Right.
Nobody speaks like that. So it's the slowing down of it that I would think would be so difficult to discern what all the words are. If I didn't speak English and I was watching American television, they're speaking at a normal clip. I'd be
But
like,
it's-
what's the noun? What's the adverb?
Well,
What's
but
the,
you're
you know?
not thinking of it like that. When you're
You have to if you're going to conjugate properly and speak the language.
But you're not, though. You're not. I don't think anybody's going into it thinking this is what that noun is. This is the sentence structure. You're kind of just listening to it, trying to figure out kind of what's
Yeah,
going
you're
on,
kind of
and
parroting.
and then just blurting it back.
Well, but that's how you get people that speak broken English.
Right.
I'm talking about, I mean, you need to know structure if you speak the language really well.
Yeah.
Like I speak French pretty well. Mm-hmm. And so when we were over there, I could get us around. I wasn't worried about that. But they absolutely knew that I was American.
Right.
I mean, granted, I was wearing my American flag hot pants
Everywhere.
everywhere and my Toby Keith cutoff tee
Obviously.
everywhere I went.
Also,
So that-
American flag on it with a snake. I get it.
my "Don't Tread on Me" headband might
I-
have signaled to them that I was not a local.
I took Spanish from 8th grade through college. I was in Spanish, and I was pretty fluent in it. But even to that point, I could sit and listen to two native speakers speak Spanish and understand everything they were saying. I just couldn't speak it as well.
Yeah.
So it could be that too, where someone's sitting and
I get
watching
that
American,
understanding it. And
yeah, they're sitting and watching American television. They understand every single thing that's going on. But maybe it just
But
doesn't.
then putting it all together and having it come out and sound like that is difficult. And that's part of immersing yourself in the language. And then you do a lot of the repeating just to practice, kind of.
Yeah.
Like when I was in the Philippines, I would just pay attention to what everybody would say. I'd write it down how they did it, and then I would repeat things back the way I'd heard someone else say it. And then you kind of learn through repetition that way.
Contrary to how I speak English when I was doing American Sign Language, I go really slow and I'm really proper, to the point where it's like almost uncommon for like a deaf person to like read how my hands are going.
So your grammar in ASL is impeccable.
Maybe
I should just start having you do sign language on the show.
Well, not so much anymore, because I mean, if you don't use it, you lose it. So I know some like key words or some phrases and stuff like that. But other than that, I mean, I was a lot better at signing than I was understanding it, because like sign people or deaf people go super fast. Like they are fast, and it takes a second to register, so it's hard for me to read.
That's different too with a delay.
Like they'll do it.
Sight delay. Mm-hmm. I guess you see things as quickly as you hear them.
It's kind of cool though, because I mean, you never have to worry about being too loud or too like not whispering or whatever. Like you could be in another room, and as long as there's glass, you can know what that person is saying. But it still takes me like maybe 3 seconds to register. I'm like, oh, you said get you a glass of water or something like that.
Imagine someone trying to learn English by listening to Poundcake.
It would be impossible.
He's going 400 miles an hour.
And it's not even correct most of the time.
All right. Why you gotta beat me when I'm down?
When I'm down.
You're going to teach him how to go golfing?
All right.
All right.
Donde es la Top Golf? All right, I've got a break. I'm going to have those Rage Against the Machine tickets for you upon my return, as promised, 420 all this week. They are not on sale until Thursday. They're going to play the Romo Fijo on July the 29th. They announced the Cleveland stop on the World Tour. AlanCoxShow.com. Hit the contest page if you want more info.
The Alan Cox Show on 100.7 WMMS. And everywhere you go on our free iHeartRadio app.
Our 2020 iHeartRadio Music Awards. Coming to Fox live on Sunday, March 29th. And listen live on your favorite iHeartRadio.